Should we put the pumpkin in there for good effort? I don't know where it's gonna go. It doesn't make sense. Okay. Hello. Okay, you guys knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. Book content. You know what? It just got to a point, you know, I'm filming a lot of vlogs. I'm filming studio vlogs. I'm filming Patreon vlogs. I'm filming all these videos. And I keep talking about books and I just can't help it. And I'm realizing people might be tuning into my studio vlogs not wanting book content. So you guys probably already saw it coming and it's here. Book content. Let's go. Puppy, what? My pug, Dante, is here, by the way. He is like sniffing my books very intensely. Yeah, here it is. The October book stack. Pretty excited. Here's what's funny. I have determined that okay, wait, I need to back up. Let me back up. As you guys know, I have become a book girly, big time. I'd say like May of this year, I switched my phone time and TV time for books. So anytime I wanted to pick up my phone, anytime I wanted to like sit on my iPad and watch trash TV or YouTube, I swapped it out for a book and it has drastically changed my whole world. I'm now like putting down a book a week. It feels like. Dante, stop sniffing this. There's nothing in here. It's not food. It's not food. I'm putting down like a book a week and it's been pretty remarkable and a huge like life change that I have made this year. And something I'm quite proud of. And so I have a nice big pile of sort of books that I would really like to read for the month of October. I'm currently working through my September TBR as we speak. I have literally like one more book for me to finish for the month, and then I will have completed all the books that I wanted to read for the month of September. But for October, these are some titles that I'm really excited about because I've had my eye on them for a long time and I've sort of been like saving them for October. Something else I've discovered about myself, I'm very much a mood reader. So even though I make like my little TBR pile, I do my best to try to stick with it. Sometimes I will veer into another direction or pick up something else or bounce around or what have you. I think so far of the piles that I've made the last 2 months, I generally stick to what it is that I want to read. Enough of the chit chat, let's go ahead and get into it. Also, if you're new here, I forgot to introduce myself. Hello, my name is Roxanne, also known as By Bun. I'm a mixed media artist, illustrator, and maker of things and new bookish girl. Nailed it. Also, just a warning, I live by an airport, so let's get into the stack. Here we go. I'm gonna put it off to the side. One book that is not in this pile that I don't know where future me is going to be at, but I will make a note of it here, is that I am working my way through the ACOTAR series. I read the first book last month. I am now currently on book 2. And I'm buddy reading this with a friend of mine. So I probably would be maybe farther along if I wasn't like buddy reading this with a friend, but I've been, you know, we text each other at night when we go to like sit down and read together. So that's why I am here. But I will say I am very much enjoying this series. Book 1 was a bit of a slog to get through. Book 2, we like book 2, having a grand old time in book 2, really enjoying this. I don't know where future me is going to be in this series in October, but assume that there will be some sort of ACOTAR book in my pile, or here in my book nook, by the way. My book nook is on my couch, and that's why I thought this would be the best spot for me to film my book videos, is that this is literally where I read, right here, in the big couch. I've got a big couch arm over here where I pile things up. I have plenty of ledges for all of my beverages. It's just a grand old time. Anywho, so assume that I will be reading some sort of ACOTAR book, either continuing on with this one, Court of Mist and Fury, or I will be on the next one, which I think is Wings and Ruin, ACOWAR, I think is that one. I don't know. Yeah, and look at those beautiful tabs. Oh my gosh, yes, I am a tabber, only with these big ass fantasy books though. Okay, let's get into the new stuff that I'm excited about. Ninth House. This just feels like a perfect October sort of book to get into. I also really love that it's a series. Who knew? I am a series girly. Not to mention this cover, absolutely stunning. And I'm hoping that if I like this one, I wanna get the Barnes & Noble exclusive. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet. There's one that has like red sides and like the cover is like red and white with the second one. They look beautiful. So I'm hoping that I like this one because then I'll pass this one on to my friend and then I will get myself the fancy Barnes & Noble exclusive ones. But October just seems like the right month to start this. Dark academia, a little spooky. I have not read anything from this author. I know she's got a whole bunch of stuff, a lot of young adult stuff. I'm really excited to give this a whirl and I really hope I like it. because I really want to get my paws on those pretty ones from Barnes & Noble. Next up, Riley Sager. I'm slowly working my way through Riley Sager books. I read House Across the Lake over the summer, loved that one. I also recently read the most recent one, The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I had mixed feelings about that. I will put a link to my Goodreads down below. But I'm slowly just working my way through Sager's backlist of things. This one was something that a friend actually gave to me. We trade books with each other, so this is a trade. Again, this just seems like the perfect sort of October read. In my mind, I'd always like to have some sort of Riley Sager in the pile, or like a Grady Hendrix. That's also the same sort of vibe for me. Riley Sager or Grady Hendrix. I feel like there's always gonna be one of them in my pile somewhere, you know? Next up is Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. I'm gonna be buddy reading this with my friend who I'm also buddy reading this with. So I'm excited to go down this thriller rabbit hole a bit here. I am late to the party on this. Apparently this is a spooky good time and I'm really excited about it. I think there's like a dual timeline thing going on in here. I don't know. If you can't tell, I try not to read too much about the synopsis of these books. I like just kind of seeing them on BookTube or BookTok and seeing people talk about them, but really I try not to read any of the back of them and I just try to just go for it. But this was one that's been on my list for a while. I've heard it's just really great. I've heard this author is really great, and that this is kind of a good one to dive in with on this particular author, Simone St. James. So really excited about this one. And again, buddy reading this. Big fan of buddy reads, by the way. It's just fun to experience a book with someone. It's just really like, it's just really fun to like text each other and be like, oh my God, or what the heck, or ugh, or eye roll, or emojis, or whatever. Especially with ACOTAR, this has been really, really fun to buddy read because there's just some moments in this series where you're like, oh my goodness. And it's fun to have someone just to bounce things off of. Next up is Tender as the Flesh. I have seen this book all over the place and I've heard it's absolutely terrifying. Terrifying because of the concept of it. The book takes place in a dystopian world where human flesh is consumed. And I think the world is kind of divided, those who do and don't eat said human flesh or those who become flesh. Not entirely sure. Literally there's slaughtering of humans in this. And I've heard it's just it's really intense. It's an intense read, but the concept of this is so fascinating to me. And every time I went to my local Barnes, I would pick up this book. I would pick it up and I would walk around with it, or I'd come over and I would just like take it off the shelf and just kind of go, am I ready yet? I don't know. I'm ready, it's time. I need to just do it. I'm definitely a little scared of this just because the concept of it seems so intense. But if there's any time of the year to read an intense book, it's going to be October. So why not? I also like that it's little, it's short. It's not long at all. The font is also pretty big on it. Let's see how many pages we got here. 209 pages, so this is gonna be a quickie. I'm also curious to see if I like this. This author also has a book of short stories that looks kind of interesting too. We'll see how this goes. I don't know. Has anyone else read this? Am I in for it with this one? Should I not be reading this? I think maybe don't eat before I read this. I don't know. Next up, we got a classic haunted house, super spooky. Apparently this book is absolutely terrifying. This was something that I knew I wanted to have in my pile for October. The Last House on Needless Street. I've heard that this is a wild ride. I've heard a lot of it is what the hell is going on. It's absolutely terrifying. I think there's a lot of different stories or perspectives that are told all surrounding this particular house. Oh, there's a giant squirrel outside. Oh my God, I'm like the dog from Up. Squirrel! I've heard that this book is absolutely terrifying and also very like, what the hell did I just read? So that is right up my alley. You know it's something that I'm gonna wanna do. If you haven't guessed already, I really love horror books. I love horror, I love spooky stuff. I have a pretty wide things that I like to read, but this just seems like it really scratches an itch for me. Something that's very like, what the hell did I just read? And this is absolutely terrifying. I'm very excited to give this a go and see what this book is all about. Okay, last and certainly not least, this is my most anticipated read for October, and it is Rouge by Mona Awad. I read Bunny this year by the same author, and I absolutely loved it. One of my favorite reads from this year. I just loved that book. I haven't read anything else. I really want to read All's Well, but when I saw that this was coming out, I just was really, really excited about it. I believe it's about a woman who kind of goes down a bit of a spiral of sort of like the pursuit of youth and beauty, and I think like the beauty industry. As it is described here, it's Snow White meets Eyes Wide Shut and the surreal descent into the dark side of beauty, envy, grief, and the complicated love between mothers and daughters. Sign me up. I'm so excited about this. Most looking forward to this, again, because I loved Bunny so much. It just was so weird and unhinged and like just really well done and just had that rabbit hole kind of vibe. And I'm hoping this is the same sort of deal. I don't know. I actually went to my Barnes & Noble and picked this up. I mean, a hardback, who am I? And picked this up like the day that it came out. So I'm really hyped for this, and I really hope that I know I shouldn't set this high of expectations for a book, but I really hope that it hits the mark for me, and I'm just really, really excited to give this a go. I might be buddy reading this with Kelsey, who is Kel Sweetie here on YouTube. I'll put a link to her channel down below. She also does bookish content, which is fantastic, but I think we're gonna be buddy reading this together potentially, so I'm excited to read this along a fellow Bunny Mona Awad fan. There it is. Pretty good pile if you ask me. Look at how beautiful it looks. Look at it. Isn't it beautiful? Oh my God. I'm very excited. Very, very excited. So there you have it. My October TBR pile, at least my initial plans. Again, will I stick with it? I don't know. I'm gonna do my best. These are the ones that I would like to read in the month of October. As I said, I'm already pacing well through my September pile. I'm looking over this way because that's where my bookshelf is. I'm already pacing pretty well through my September pile, so I may be starting one of these at the end of September. We shall see. But let me know what you guys think about these videos. Do you want book content like this? Do you want me to do... Here's what I'm thinking. I like these sort of videos where I tell you what I'm gonna read, but here's the big thing that I need to know. Do you guys like this bookish content? Do you want to see TBR videos? Do you wanna see monthly wrap-up videos? Do you want reading vlogs? You just tell me down below and your girl can start working on them, because all I wanna talk about is books. Anywho, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you're new here, consider subscribing or give this video a like, or just leave a comment down below. What are you gonna be reading for October? I would love to hear. Leave it in a comment down below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye.